Knicks Some Noise. It's your man, Why Me. Welcome back to another episode, and thank you very much for tuning in. We got a bit of a special episode for you. I was in the building Black Friday afternoon at the Spectrum Center versus the Charlotte Hornets. Now, look, I know we're not happy about the product of basketball that's being played on a consistent basis with our team. Some of our players are clearly struggling, and we want to definitely discuss what what the team needs to do, what those particular players need to do to get back going again. So let's get right into it. So yesterday afternoon we had a 12 o'clock matinee versus the Charlotte Hornets. No LaMelo Ball, no Miles Bridges, no Nick Richards. I mean, the team was completely depleted, and we went up against a cast of bench players and Brandon Miller. We had a poor showing yesterday. Guys didn't get it going. Unfortunately, the captain had to take over in the clutch, but that is what he's here for. Towns, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart collectively had bad games or maybe slower, not consistent games according to what we've been seeing. But at the end of the day, we pulled out a win, 99-98, albeit to captain clutch, 31 points, 9 of 18 shooting, 9 of 12 free throws. He missed a couple at the end. He dropped a few, but at the end, again, he was able to take over the game and score those 11 points in the fourth quarter and those 8 to 10 points that was necessary for us to win. Cat did hit a big three from the baseline in front of the Knicks bench, which actually propelled a lot of momentum for us in the fourth quarter for Jalen to continue to hit shots. However, at the half, the score was 49-46. So the score at halftime, once again, was 49-46. The score at halftime was 49-46. Charlotte Hornets were up 49-46 at half. So pretty much the game was slow. The performance on both teams' sides were lackluster. But again, we were able to pull out a key victory in the NBA Cup matchup. We remain undefeated in our NBA Cup matchups. We have the Orlando Magic next week, Tuesday, I believe, and that is in MSG. We will be home for that game. So now, let's get back to, the first quarter again. We put up 15 points in the first quarter, 31 points in the second. We sort of got it going in the second quarter. However, scoring only 15 to the Charlotte Hornets 23 still left us at a deficit. At the end, ladies and gentlemen, what we're looking at is poor effort in certain key instances. There's poor effort. Collectively, there's some form of miscommunication. Whereas the team is not speaking very well on defense and not communicating defensively, players are not moving their feet. They're playing defense with their hands in the air versus out to the side, blocking and absorbing the passing lane. Shout out to Jadakiss and Fendi, who was at the game sitting courtside too. What happened was the Charlotte Hornets was able to get fast break points. They were able to get out in transition, and we just looked a step slow most of the game. No reason why we should have beaten this team absent of LaMelo Ball by 1 point. No reason. So what happens is where we're showing a deficit is on the defensive end. It's defensive intensity, it's communication, and it's just allowing these younger teams with a little bit more energy and a little bit more of an ability to get started faster than us to flourish. The team went up 7-2 or 9-3 or something to that effect early in the first quarter. And then you can tell once a team goes up on us like that and has the momentum, where the game is going to go. So as soon as they scored those first few points, I already knew what type of game that we went in for. And in the Spectrum Center, there's a sea of blue and orange. 60 to 65% of the crowd are Knicks fans when the Knicks play the Charlotte Hornets. And so this is essentially a home game for us. There were MVP chants. There were all types of cheers of defense while we're on defense. The crowd is yelling defense. And also, peep this last possession before halftime. Come on, man.
We got to keep attacking the boards. We got to dominate. Jalen Brunson, do what you got to do on that three-point line. Campaign, stop shooting. You know what I'm saying? Cat, keep cleaning. And guys, Knicks, stop playing with your food. It's the day after Thanksgiving. These guys are leftovers. You know what I'm saying? We got to eat this up. What are we doing?
Hey, we seen Monica McNutt, y'all. What we doing, Chuck? What we doing, Chuck?
New York
Hey, hold that.
day.
That's you, Chuck.
Come on now.
Hey, yo, how you feel about the first half, Chuck? What we looking like?
With these slow starts, yo, we giving teams life for no reason. We giving them life for no reason. I mean, come on. We not even playing up to par at all, and we keeping them in the game. All we gotta do is play a little bit, and it's a wrap.
Gotta play hard, y'all.
Come on, Knicks.
You gotta
Come
play
on,
hard.
We gotta put it together. Come on, we too good for this. We too good to be having a Charlotte team with their G League roster
With no
competing with
LaMelo.
us.
No LaMelo.
No, they were out 8 players. They got no starters. They got one starter.
Brandon Miller.
Brandon Miller's the
And
only
he's
starter.
off tonight.
Come on, man. Come on, what we doing? Second half, though, you know.
Let's go.
Second half.
Knicks Some Noise. It's your man, Why Me? I got my man Chuck here. We live on location. Yeah. We live on location. You see the queen right there. She doing what she got to do. She handling her business. But you see the queen right there. Double M. You know what I'm saying? She handling her business. But we live on location, man. It's Knicks Some Noise, man. It's your man, Why Me? How you feeling about the first half?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Leave my wife alone.
She don't want to talk about it. See what happens?
So-
See what happens?
The Knicks have all this support to play this way. We missed layups in transition. There was layup baskets that Karl Anthony Towns missed. Like once I start putting these clips up and these highlights up, you'll see the poor half court possessions that we had. Like 99 points against this team is no reason why we should have had this type of performance. But I can only attribute it to a long road trip. You know, we were up in the mountains. We were in Utah. We were in Denver. Then from Denver to Dallas. You know, there's a long road trip. This is a holiday weekend. You know, guys are away from their family, away from their loved ones. And, you know, it's just one of those things where you just want to get this over with. And, hey, maybe we're making too much of this. I did call into the Knicks Fan TV show. Shout out to CP. Shout out. And like I said, maybe we just could be making too much of an appearance like this on a holiday weekend, on the end of a 5-game road trip. At the end of November, I thought we would win at least 10 games, but we finished 9-6. So we played a total of 15 games in November, and we finished 9-6. We could have won at least 12 games. And, you know, that would have been more appropriate. A 12-3 record at the end of November would have been fire. Obviously, also winning our in-season tournaments, we'd be straight. But I just believe that guys need to step up the competitive advantage, become less friendly with other teams, less, willing to just be on the passive end. And we just need to take it to guys' chests and just be more aggressive on offense, and then obviously be more aggressive and communicative on defense. I believe that will be the keys to what we do. And what we're doing right now is just pretty much breaking even in a lot of our situations. Dallas Mavericks was abysmal. We had no fight. Kyrie bodied us. Derek Lively, like I said, is a tough competitor. He's a legit 6'11". Jump out the gym. He has hops on the not equivalent to, but on the same plane as Jericho Sims. And he's more involved in the offensive situations for Dallas. And that's basically kind of how we want to use Jericho Sims. But I don't know if it's the Thibodeau effect right now in terms of the rotation or the minutes, or I don't know if it's the point guard effect, because having Kyrie Irving, having Quentin Grimes and players who can slash the lane and get to the lane quickly, Luka Doncic is an excellent alley-oop passer. That's what it takes. We don't have those excellent alley-oop passes on our team to get players to the basket like we can do Lively. But if Sims somehow gets himself free and there's trust there in that situation, Jayla can throw it up. I believe Josh is a good alley-oop passer, as well as Mikal Bridges can be and OG Anunoby can be. Carl Anthony Towns is also a great passer in the post from an interior basis. So let's see how it works. But we do need to find some other creative offensive sets to get those B and C guys in our rotation easy baskets. That is Jericho Sims. That is Cameron Payne. And when we are playing Kolek and Dadier, and whenever Hawk Porty gets some burn, we're gonna use him the same way. I don't think it's the stubbornness of Tibbs. I believe Tibbs plays a free as flowing offense as possible for the defensive responsibility that he puts on his team. So the offense flows freely enough and it works efficiently enough that Tibbs can ask for a lot from you on the defensive end, as well as doing what we got to do on offense. So at the end, poor showing in Charlotte, not a very good showing in Dallas. We bust Denver's ass, and then not a very good showing in Utah. So the road trip, to a large degree, not totally successful, but not a bust as well. I mean, we broke even, and then that's how we're gonna leave it. But what we do need to take away from this is the fact that we have to be more together. We did stick together in this game because obviously losing to a team like this is a huge thing. I believe losing to a team like Utah was a huge thing. And I don't think people appreciated that or understood that because you're saying, okay, we beat Denver. I bet you if we beat Denver, we'll forget about Utah. Well, no, that's not how it works, because there's a loss in the loss column. And when you look and you say, who did we lose to? It's going to say the Utah Jazz. And then if you say, who did we almost lose to? It's going to say the Charlotte Hornets. And so who did we really lose to? Oh, we lost to Dallas. We got stomped by Dallas. Who did we beat? We beat Denver, but according to Jamal Murray, dudes was still on vacation in LA and got back to the game late. So who knows what's really going on in the league? Who knows who's really coming to play every night? The wins and the losses are hit or miss. It's hard to even bet on this because you don't know what guys are going to put that effort in and night out. It's not even consistent from the players and the teams that won championships. You can't even expect consistency from them. So the league is up in the air right now. The All-Star format has changed. You got this in-season tournament. You got guys running around it. They're changing up the courts. They're changing up the meanings of the game and the implications on wins and losses, because you don't know what you're going to get night in and night out from these groups of NBA players. You just don't know. You don't know where the intensity is. You don't know what's going to happen on a nightly basis. It's not predictable. You knew what you would get from our, greats and our legends, our old school players, even our 2000 era players, the Carmelo Anthonys and the Allen Iversons. You knew what you were going to get every night from the Kobe's. You knew what you're going to get every night. But, these players, you got a few players that you can hang your hat on. You got Steph, you got Jalen. I believe Jalen Brunson comes to play, and I think he stepped it up on the defensive end because he had to. He's not asked to play defense, but you got Steph, you got Jalen, you got Kyrie. Jokic to a large degree comes. KD shows up when he's not hurt. Devin Booker. You got certain guys. The young group in Orlando, the young core, Donovan Mitchell, and those guys. You got a lot of guys that come to play that you can expect to give you a good game. But then just the B players and the supporting cast, you really don't know where their mind is, and you ultimately end up with games like this. But nonetheless, I digress and I diverted. But to get back to the point, this is Knicks Some Noise. It's your man, Why Me. We won a grind out game in Charlotte, 99-98. I was definitely in the building. All the Knicks fans from the North Carolina area, South Carolina area made it to the Spectrum Center. We were definitely out there. Jadakiss and Fendi was in the building sitting courtside. It was what it was, but it was not a good showing by the squad altogether. So I'm gonna wrap up this segment right here, just to get you some data, just to hit your algorithm again. Like I said, I'm gonna wrap up this segment. As you can see, most of the possessions that I got, that I filmed and I was able to film, resulted in missed shots. So that's what I'm going to show you, because that's what I got. That's the footage that I got. Most of the possessions that I took with my phone were misses. And it just went to show you how locked in we weren't. We were not locked in. We didn't come to play. We need to get Mikal Bridges going downhill to the basket, bro. Focusing on layups and foul shots. I believe when I called into the show, he hasn't gotten to the line in 8 games. He hasn't shot a free throw. This is the first time yesterday that he shot free throws in 8 games. So you're settling. The refs don't respect you. And you're just shooting up a lot of shots that aren't going in because you're obviously not having a good shooting performance. So the shots you're shooting aren't going in. They may or may not be bad shots. I'm not here to call every shot a bad shot, but the shots that you are taking aren't going in. You got to get to the basket, bro. You're not getting to the line. And they're not bailing you out on them turnaround shots, them fadeaway shots. You're not getting foul calls because they aren't going in. So why would they bail you out and put you on the line if you're settling? Also, the reps watch the games. They look at the scouting reports. They know what players want to do. They know how players want to draw fouls. And they're not just going to give those calls to you if the results aren't there to begin with. You know, if the makes aren't there to begin with, they're not going to support you by putting you on the line. So with that being said, we need to get Mikal going downhill to the basket, set some screens for him going to the basket. And then he has to be aggressive to take those 1 or 2 steps to get to the basket and either try to get layups or dunks and get contact. Aggressive layups, aggressive dunks for contact. You might got to risk a little injury here and there, little knick-knack, falling on the ground, falling on the floor. But you got to get to the line, bro. And you got to get your rhythm back. Because it looks bad for you taking all the shots that you normally make that aren't going in. So with that being said, again, this is Knicks Some Noise. This your man, Why Me. We on location, Charlotte, North Carolina. Yesterday's game was a doozy, but we were able to come out with a squeaky win, 99-98. And, you know, we'll take it from there. Let's look a little bit ahead and see what we have going on in the coming weeks, and then we'll discuss that later. When I get back to the lab, we'll hit you with another video just to keep it fresh and interesting. So, looking at the full schedule, we have New Orleans, we have Orlando, we got the Hornets again, and we got Detroit. So, with effort, the Pelicans, Orlando, Charlotte, Detroit, and I'll give you Toronto. I do understand that we have a lot of problems versus the Orlando Magic. Our old roster with Julius Randle, they gave us fits. Paolo is nice. The Wagner brothers, depending on if Jalen Suggs plays. Fultz was a problem. Again, young, scrappy teams that have something to prove. That is the Orlando Magic in a nutshell. When you look up young, scrappy teams that have something to prove, the Orlando Magic roster is next to that in the Webster's Dictionary. However, the Zion-less New Orleans Pelicans, I don't know what LaMelo is going to be doing, but in the Garden shouldn't be a problem. Versus Detroit shouldn't be a problem. So 4 games at home. The 1st, the 3rd, the 5th, the 7th. And then we go to Toronto for the game on December the 9th. That's going to be a good game, too, on NBA TV, 7:30 p.m. And then we got Minnesota, December 19th, in Minnesota. So not a welcome home, but, we will see how that trade really impacted us. And this is the first sample of how that trade really impacted us. Some say we got fleeced. Some say Minnesota got fleeced. If you look at Julius Randle's performance, if you look at Karl Anthony Towns' performance, I believe that the performances are equivalent. I believe that neither one of them has had a breakout. I mean, we've gotten great games from Towns, and Minnesota has gotten great games from Julius. But they're still neck and neck as far as even from when we traded for them. They're still neck and neck. Getting rid of DiVincenzo, I don't think that's what I think made it a bad trade. The addition of Dante. And so with that, we'll see. And again, 4 games at home, the Pels, the Magic, Charlotte Hornets again, and the Detroit Pistons. Young teams, 4 young teams. So we need to go home, get some sleep, and be ready to play and come out fast and interesting and energetic in a hurry with somewhere to go. So at this rate, I'm going to wrap it up. Again, we'll hit you with more content. This is your Knicks Some Noise. This is your man, Why Me. We was live on location in the Spectrum Center. We got some nice footage. We got some nice pictures. And we going to bless y'all with all that. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.